Welcome to the Good Rookie Show. My name's Faheem.
And my name is Nelly J, y'all. And we are good
That's
rookies.
right.
What's going on, everybody? Happy Good Tuesday. And guess what? It's the Good Rookie
Yep,
Show.
yep. That's right.
What's going on, y'all? As you know, we are the Good Rookies coming straight out of Toronto, bringing you the hottest topics in sports and culture. And y'all, this week is no better. First Tuesday in October. You know what I'm saying? We're in the break. I think for him, we call it Christmas for sports fans because we got MLB playoffs around the corner, NBA preseason starting. We got hockey preseason starting. We got the NFL in full effect. We got, I mean, literally every sport is on deck. So, I'm totally excited. But as we know, Faheem, there was media day this week. Did you
Mm.
catch any of it at all? Did you check out any of the media, the comments, any of that at all?
No, Russ and Pat Bev had something media day. I was
Mm-hmm.
aware. I saw OG and Anobi from the
Mm-hmm.
Raptors had a little, but outside of that, nope, nothing on
Yeah.
nothing
Well,
on
I
the radar.
mean, I caught some clips. Harden said he lost 100 pounds, probably like 30,
Right,
probably
I
like
heard
30.
about
But,
that.
he
Right,
lost
right.
some weight, you know what I'm saying?
Uh,
But he looking real serious. We got the Lakers, still going to be mid to me this season. No offense, Laker fans, but I'm just saying, y'all. But
I
hey,
disagree, but we'll tackle that
I
another
mean,
time.
you can disagree and that's okay, but I'm just saying mid, and again, mid to me means that they're going to be like between the 7th to 10th. And what's
Mm,
crazy is that a lot of Laker fans agree with that take as well.
really.
Only because you look at the Western Conference, Raheem. Let's
Mm,
run it down, right? Let's run it down. So, um, we saw the Lakers play with their full squad when AD was there before Christmas. They were
mhm,
they were a healthy team.
mhm.
They couldn't beat Memphis. They couldn't beat the Warriors. They couldn't beat Phoenix. They couldn't beat Denver. That's
Right.
four teams.
Right. But
So,
but the
and the
but
Clippers,
but
those
at the
five teams
but
beat
at the
them
break though, where were they
before
in
the
the
break.
standings? Yeah, that's what I'm
Before the
saying. At that
break.
point, were they a 7 to 10 team that you're speaking
Yeah.
about, or were they higher?
Yeah.
They
There's
were.
yeah,
Okay.
exactly. So I'm trying to say. So
Okay.
so again, Dallas, like if you look at the Western Conference, again, being mid in the Western Conference is not a bad, it's not like I'm
Right.
trying to be
Of course not.
insulting,
All right.
but it's just that, there's so many good teams in the Western Conference now.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're adding the Pelicans, we're adding Sacramento, people think might do some things. So the Western Conference is highly competitive.
Right.
And the fact that Denver was a top 16 without MPJ and Jamal Murray. Those
Mm-hmm.
guys are back this year.
Right.
Looking at how they played, losing Caruso, losing Kuzma. They lost a lot of defensive players, and now they have Pat Bev, who I think he's going to be good for that team. But
Okay.
again, they still got to play basketball and get the ball in the hole
Right.
more than the other team, right? So again, mid doesn't mean that they're a bad team, just that they're mid. They're not
Mm-hmm.
a top team. They're not top. They're not tier one, but they're also not the bottom feeders. They're going to be in the middle competing.
Yeah.
So let's see if they can do some trades within the trade deadline. But they look, I mean, I like 80, but 80 doesn't want to play the five, want to play the four,
Yeah.
and their centers are not top tier centers. They don't got McGee and the Dwight. All those guys are not there. So there's a lot of question marks with the Lakers, but let's forget about them. The Raptors looking good. Siakam made a comment this week that he wants to be a top 5 player in the NBA. Faheem, I got to get your take on this. Why? Okay, first of all, this guy's so rude, y'all. See this guy laughing already. Okay, Siakam said he wants to be a top 5 player in the NBA, not in the Eastern Conference, not in the division, in the NBA. Faheem, what's your first thoughts after you're giggling? If y'all didn't see him, he smirked. What's your thoughts on him pushing himself to be a top 5 player?
Awesome. As an NBA player, professional basketball player, you're supposed to have that mentality. So good for you. Um, Pat Bev could say, I want to be a top 5 player also, but just because you say it and what you do,
Are we comparing Pat Bev to Siakam,
no,
an
I'm
all
just
star, a
I,
champion?
I was
Come
I
on,
was just
Fahim.
saying, you could say anything, but you have to show and prove. And I like that. Like I like the confidence. I'm just hoping at the end of the year, there's a review on that and say, okay, if he said top 5, and then let's do that at the
Okay,
end of the
so
season.
we'll pin it then.
We'll pin it. He says top 5. We'll see if he's top 15 at the end of the
Okay.
season.
Well, you know what? For me, the reason why I think it's refreshing for him because we've never had a player on the Raptors pushing himself to be a top player like that, like wanting to be one of the best of the best. Kyle Lowry never said he wanted to be a top 5 NBA player. DeMar DeRozan never said that stuff. I mean, DeMar, I think I'm not, I can't quote myself. If I'm wrong, y'all tell me, but I never heard DeMar saying he wants to be the best player. But to me, when someone strives to be the best, it's like you
Mhm.
shoot for the sun, you land on the stars, right? So I'm cool with that. That means that he has a passion and aggression that I think we all know Siakam sometimes doesn't give us that every game. So if he's coming out wanting to be the best player in the NBA,
See.
wow. That
Mhm.
to me is a great, you said great mentality, great approach. And I think for me, I think that energy comes from the influence of Scotty Barnes. I
Of
don't know
course.
about you, but I think
Mhm.
Scotty Barnes really admires Siakam. I think he
Mhm.
gives him a lot of positivity and goes, yo, yo. And Scotty says he adores him. So it just shows you Scotty just has this energy that I've heard before that just brings you a winning circle
Really
and
good.
positivity. So I just
Mhm.
think this is a good sign for Raptor fans, knowing that, these guys mentally are ready. So
Mhm. So since we're talking top five in our franchise history, how many top five players have the Toronto Raptors had in their franchise history? And for you, I would probably say
who
maybe
do you think was the
Kawhi.
top five?
Maybe Kawhi. I don't even think Vince Carter. I'd have to
No,
say he
yeah,
doesn't. Yeah. So
only
maybe Kawhi,
Kawhi.
right?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
only one that was top
So
five. Yeah.
I mean, certain players, there's you could talk about it or you could be about it.
Mm-hmm.
And Kawhi never talked about it, he just did it. Vince
Well,
Carter
Kawhi
never
doesn't
really
talk.
talked
He just
about it. He just did
Kawhi don't
it.
talk. He goes ha 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 ha. But
you know,
anyways,
yeah, the ones that sometimes you let
well,
your work
well,
speak for
LeBron
itself.
talks about it. So you know, what I mean, some players do talk about it. LeBron says he was the GOAT. Come on now, you know LeBron. LeBron has said, "I'm." Come on,
Yeah,
you know what I'm
yeah,
saying? So I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
to me, just personality traits. To me, I think
Hmm.
Siakam has never been this kind of person. He's never talked about himself like this ever.
Hmm.
He always just says, I work my hardest. I play for someone to, for my dad." Like he never talks
Right,
about being a bit
right.
player. So to me, this is like you said this before for him. You said you want Siakam to be more aggressive and be that guy. So like
Hmm.
you said, if he's saying it, let's just see if he's about it. And like you
Right.
said, we're going to talk about it towards the end of the season to see, what's up.
Yeah,
So
recap. That's fair. I think that's fair. Yeah, Nelly J. um, the NFL. Why don't you tell a little bit about the NFL and the changes? Because I'll give a little background. The Pro Bowl, it's NFL. First of all, the NFL season. You're much more, way more invested in the NFL than I am.
oh man.
And the Pro Bowl, even when I did follow football to your level, the Pro Bowl was something I never watched. No one watched the Pro Bowl, as we've probably spoken before many, many, many episodes ago. It is the worst all-star, or it's not really an all-star. It's the best. I mean, the worst player recognition um,
Worse than
game of
baseball?
them all.
Baseball.
I take the
Wow.
baseball all-star game for 100%. Hundred
So
percent.
he's
Yes,
the
yeah.
worst. I'm trying. Oh, it's close because the NBA has been
MLS,
terrible too
MLS
the last couple of
soccer.
years.
You
The
know
NBA has been terrible the last
it.
couple of years too.
Yeah,
But I
the
mean,
Pro
they're all,
Bowl.
they're all bad. But I guess like they're worser. Like, what's the term? Like I don't even know. But yeah, to your
Yeah,
point, they're bad. Yeah,
yeah,
it's not
that's
the
bad.
best.
So, but they're yay! They've got a new format coming. Drop the format on us.
Yeah, so I mean, I think it's really dope because they had to change it up, and I
Hmm.
hope the NBA take notice that they also got to change it up as well because what they did last year, yeah, very mid. So the Pro Bowl games are going to be divided, and this is as per CBS. I want to shout out CBS NFL. The Pro Bowl games will be divided into two categories. So they'll have one for skill competitions, and a second one that will be for game day events. Okay, the skill competitions is going to occur the week of the games. So from Tuesday to Saturday, and it's going to include non-football activities. So they're going to have dodgeball, best catch competition, quarterback drills, and also thread the needle accuracy tests and stuff like that. The game day events are going to include stuff like a 7-on-7 flag football games. That'll be around 3 hours without the offensive or defensive linemen. So just 7-on-7, right? Scores from both the skill competitions and game day events will be compiled to determine a Pro Bowl games champion. So imagine like a mini Olympic Games, I guess, but it's happening around just NFL, the NFL players. So the players will be voted into Pro Bowl and will be invited to the NFL to participate in either or, depending on their skill set. So clearly, if you're a top quarterback, you're probably competing for the quarterback skill sets and stuff like that. Each team will have 44 players, and the members of the winning team will receive 84,000, and members of the losing team will receive 42,000, which is incentive. And I think again, the NBA, I think if you want to increase the dunk contest, pay some people, right? So I think it's a really good format. I think players will come more exciting knowing that they can get an extra paycheck. 84K over a week extra, that's good money if you win, and 42K if you lose. I mean, I think it's a win-win. What's your thoughts on this breakdown?
Did you say dodgeball?
Yeah, they're gonna have dodgeball.
Okay, so
That'll be part of the
just
skill competitions format.
skill competition. So football, NFL, it's a contact sport where they're like a lot of contact, but they're playing dodgeball.
Well, remember,
on,
their goal to have non-football activities like dodgeball. That's an
right,
example. So I'm not sure what else you're gonna have, but yeah.
What day is hide and go seek and Red Rover? And
like what's bingo and bingo, shoot, who knows, man?
Jenga, Jenga, Twister,
Sudoku, solitaire. God damn, what? Dominoes. Yo, let's have some dominoes. That'd be dope. Let's see guys playing dominoes still. You know what? The problem is that these guys don't want to listen. The Pro Bowl, no one wants to tackle, no one wants to get hurt. So just have a fun non-contact thing. You know what I'm saying? So
I mean, a camp retreat.
Yeah, with alcohol.
Okay.
And some things. And some things.
So let's get into this. So do you think that this new format is going to change anything? Do you think people will tune in more and care more about the Pro Bowl with these circus-like events? Go ahead.
Well, I think last year they had a good thing. Remember, they were doing the versus battle with like the different. Remember last year they had like different
no,
like.
I didn't watch it. So
yeah, well, I didn't watch it, but they had like a social media versus. Karaoke? No, they had versus for plays. We talk about it on the podcast. Literally. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they had verses. So that's Snoop Dogg, different people commenting on different plays. So I think the NFL, they always try to do something a bit more interactive. I don't knock it because you got to try something, right? It's not working. You try it this year, you don't work, you do it again.
You do it again,
but I think I do like the 7-on-7 flag football because I play flag football and I think it's a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. And I think it actually is going to really push these guys to actually pull the flag in that tackle. Mm-hmm. I think it's going to be really hilarious. So I actually like it. To me, why not? Now will they be showing everything like on TV? Probably not. They're gonna have an NFL channel, but hey, why not? Right? The Pro Bowl is for the fans, but also for the players. And I think this is a win-win either way. And I think they can push it on social media. So why not? These guys don't want to tackle. So I think I mean I love rugby 7. That's fun during the Olympics. So I'm curious to see how it will be for flag football 7 and 7. Like to me, it can't be as bad as before. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
Will it solve the problem? I don't know yet.
The games, I haven't watched Pro Bowl in maybe 2 decades. Just off of this, I don't know if I'll watch it, but I'll be more intrigued to see what happens. I just think what they need to do if they don't want to focus on the game, and I understand even flag football, that's kind of interesting, I guess, but I still think they gotta find a way to find like dodgeball. It does incorporate, with the throwing and the moving from the ball. It incorporates football like moves, but I think they should go back to quarterbacks. That's a main position. Maybe run like a specific skills, how they had like
so they're gonna have all that. They're gonna have the skills. They're gonna have that. They're gonna have all the quarterback, all that stuff. They're gonna have the catching,
the receivers.
They're gonna have all that stuff, but they're adding on top of that stuff like dodgeball and so forth. So it's gonna be interesting. Kickers probably have to do some kicks, through whatever. They're gonna have all that other stuff. Right. But to me, at this point, it's like they're just trying a thing, right? You got to try a thing. So I don't knock it because the NBA had not been trying a thing. The NBA's last year, they had the brothers versus I don't know what they were doing last year in the NBA. It was just trash. So anyway, I just think that they're trying something new and hopefully it sticks.
Yeah, I wish them the best.
But hey, at least you know every contest is going to count to a point. So overall, you want to make an extra 84K if you win. That to me is the biggest thing. I think.
Mhm.
I think people take it more seriously now, and then they get 84K if they win. That's like, you know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
I do one skill contest and I get 84,000 if our entire team wins.
Right.
That's dope.
Not mad at that. I'm not mad at that.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
to see. And in regards to ratings, um, how do you think this is going to do on the way out of this? Because I'm.
I, I don't know how I think it will do. I think because when it occurs, it's not it's not busy for sports. I think people will watch it because out of curiosity.
Right.
And I think if they have people like Snoop Dogg and people that people want to hear, it'll make it more exciting as well.
Right.
And this way, you know, your player won't get hurt. Because I think that was
Right.
the issue is that quarterbacks weren't trying to do much, linebackers weren't trying to do much because, you know, you ain't trying to get
Mhm.
hurt, man. Like you're not getting paid for that game. So, but yeah, so we'll see.
Also,
Again, ratings, I think it might be the same or a little bit more, but I
yeah,
mean,
I agree with you. I think I would probably lean to more a little bit more just because, you're right. They're trying something that could be interesting. Jay-Z's behind the halftime. Um, I wouldn't, I
Rock
wouldn't
Nation. I don't know about Jay
Rock
Z, but
Nation.
Rock
Okay.
Nation. Yeah, we say
Okay.
Rock
Jay's
Nation.
the organization is
Yeah.
definitely behind it. This is something I think they should maybe put their heads toward and throw some things at the wall because I think they might have something creative, maybe youthful, something fresh and cool to add to it. I would
Uh,
think, why wouldn't they get them involved? Go ahead.
no, you're right. They could, but they gotta pay for it. You know what I'm saying? That shit ain't free. You know what I'm saying? I'm
Yeah.
sure if they sign a check to Jay Z or Rock Nation, they'll do it, but they
Mhm.
haven't yet. So
Yeah. All right. So, Nelly J, you want to go for the culture?
for the culture, we like to highlight individuals for the culture. And today we get to highlight throwback name Maple Jordan, born February 23rd, 1995. He plays for the Golden State Warriors, Mr. Andrew Wiggins, an
Mhm.
NBA champion, by the way.
Okay.
So big up to Andrew Wiggins Faheem. And I
Yeah.
think, you know, like it's so crazy how we have players doing stuff for the culture in Toronto, and I rarely hear about it unless they say it. So Andrew Wiggins posted something on Instagram. I thought it was really dope. So he announced that through his Wiggins World Foundation, he he was donating $22 for every point he scored from the regular season for him and the playoffs. So that was that was a total of 1,619 points he had. So the total amount was $35,618, and that was donated to Boys and Girl Club of San Francisco, Covenant House, Toronto, and California, and Jumpstart Bond Apart, sorry. And so this was, I think, really cool that he did this, but he's also doing it again for the fifth annual this upcoming season. Um, and for him, it's about helping underprivileged kids. So he's doing it again this year. I think it's dope that, and again, right, the more points you score, the more you can donate. I love those types of initiatives. So big up to Andrew Wiggins
Big
for
up, big
doing
up, big
this.
up.
Yeah. What's your thoughts on this, Faheem? What's your
Um,
thoughts?
so before I speak about Andrew Wiggins, I always have to mention this. He has okay. He's had some critics. I'll say that over the years. Um,
Yourself?
yes,
Okay, cool.
me being one of them. And this season has silenced people like me. So I feel like I've spent many years on the other side of Andrew Wiggins. So this is new territory for me to really be on board and say, hey, you know what? Um, he's balling and he's living up to the potential, regardless of how long it's taken him to get here and do what he's doing. He's doing it. Salute, enough respect. I just feel I have to throw that in there because I spent
Yeah.
I was, as wasn't very much impressed. But
I think your criticism wasn't saying that he couldn't play. I
oh
just
no,
think
hundred
that
percent,
he
yeah.
was so talented,
Mhm.
and for I think the issue was that he wasn't aggressive
Right,
with his talent, and
the
that's something
motor.
that Steph Curry has said that before, and Draymond.
Hmm.
Like, bro, just be aggressive, like go off. Like you ain't gotta ask me nothing, right? And I think
Mhm.
there's something that we saw Steph and Draymond talked about at press conferences about we want Andrew to just go off and enjoy himself, have fun, and be aggressive. And I think sometimes certain people can tap into your potential. You know, it's like that spark plug. And I just think that a lot of us thought he could be a leader for a team and be that head guy because of his talent. But no, he's not. That's his personality. So I just think,
Mhm.
but to your point, you weren't saying that he wasn't good. You're just like,
No,
bro,
no.
why aren't you doing what you can do?
Right, right. And also, yeah, he was the number one pick. So I usually with the number one pick, you'd expect him to be a franchise player. And
I.e. Kevin Durant.
yeah, to this, wow, to this point right now,
For example.
I still, I still don't see Andrew Wiggins as a franchise player. But you don't have to be a franchise player to be an effective player and a respected player. So that's why I'm saying we have to gauge everybody to their abilities. And if Andrew Wiggins is not a franchise player, it doesn't mean that he's a disappointment at all.
Agreed.
Mhm.
Agreed.
Now, in saying that, back to his initiative, it's amazing, very creative. That he chose the points. I have heard something like that before, but it's always great when people actually do it because especially when he chose a great season to do it. He scores a lot every year, so I shouldn't discredit him. Every single year he can put numbers on the board, 100%, right?
Hmm.
So it's nice to see that he's tying in a social cause to his profession, right? And I think it's amazing. So and it's where in particular it's in Toronto, but it's to the boys. It's for a
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's
specific
actually
guy.
four charities,
Four
which I just
charities.
listed
Okay.
out. Yeah, yeah.
Nice. Nice. So it's got to say, shout out to Andrew Wiggins on that. That's all I got.
Okay, well, for me, I agree with everything you said. Also gotta shout out that he was also an all-star this year for the first time.
Yes.
A thing that we spoke
How
about
did I forget
before,
that?
and then you were like, "You've never been all-star," and
Right.
right. So Andrew Wiggins was the all-star and voted in too, not just like selected. He was voted in.
Hey, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Who would have thought? Who would have thunk? You know what I'm saying? Who would have thunk?
Who would have thunk?
But I will say this, it just shows you that as fans, sometimes we expect people to be like who we think they should be. You know what I'm
Mhm,
saying?
mhm,
And it's like it's cool to reflect and be like, wow, like why do we all think Andrew had to be like LeBron or had to be like because of his talent, right? And sometimes, some players could crumble under that pressure and could have, melded away, but he kept at it. I do think him being in Minnesota was detrimental to his career. I think if he actually went to a team that had like a star, like a Steph Curry, like sometimes people need to have like a mentor, like someone to push them. And I don't think he ever had a Steph in his life before until now. And that's why I think, sometimes for young stars like Wiggins, who isn't an aggressive type personality, it's like, oh, like you're really good, but your personality, I feel like you'd be better with someone like you know what I mean? Like someone that'll push them, like a PJ Tucker or whatever. So it just shows sometimes that in basketball, the skill set has to match the mindset.
mhm.
Right.
Right.
And I think sometimes we think they should be or think like how we want them to think. And I think
Right.
a lot of fans like us got humbled. Like, you know what? Why did we put this pressure on Andrew? I remember this point. I was like, I don't think we expect too much from him. I think he needs to be who he wants to be
Mhm.
and let him show us who he can be. And I think once I approached him that way, that was dope. I do hope though that Andrew does play for Team Canada. Our team could be really sneaky,
All
Faheem.
right.
If everyone plays,
Mhm.
yo, we can be an actual problem. However, even that was an issue because Andrew wasn't playing for Team Canada, but now we
Right.
got RJ Barrett Sr., we got Nick Nurse, we got big up Nathaniel Mitchell, who's also a coach there. So I'm hoping Andrew now with this new confidence, he's gonna give it to Team Canada, not just the Warriors.
Mhm.
But no, big up to Andrew Wiggins, big up to all he's doing for the culture. Big up to you, sir. Man's from Toronto, always doing big things. So I'm so happy that we can celebrate you. And bruh, play for Team Canada. That's all.
Ditto. With everything you said, you hit the nail right on the head with that one for sure. Team Canada needs you. Team Canada needs you, and he's a champion. So we got to put some respect on his name.
Champion lover. Sorry. It came to my head. I don't know why.
All right, so Nelly J, you want to close out with that's
That's
absurd.
absurd. Faheem, bro. What was absurd this week? What was absurd? Ah,
This can go with levels. The Boston Celtics should not be a surprise to anybody. The coach, Ime Udoka, has been fired by the team.
not fired yet. Come on, Faheem. He's not fired.
Oh,
Oh my goodness.
okay.
It's okay. That's why I was
You're
prayer. Go
right. You're
ahead.
right.
Go
You're
ahead.
right. Right. Okay. So
Suspended.
he's been
Suspended.
suspended for the team for how do you want to put it, Nelly J?
For one season.
For one season, no, but for what he, for is it infidelity,
Oh
cheating?
no,
Where are
for
we
no
going with this here?
no, so I mean the reports say he broke a company protocol, right? That's
Company
all.
protocol.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
all.
cool,
Mhm.
and that's why they have suspended for the year. Uh, I'm gonna go with absurd. Can I explain really
Absurd.
quickly what's absurd? I'm not going to join the crowd and go down on Ime Udoka on what has happened because we all know. I want to look at this another angle and call it something else. I want my absurd is not for actually. Can we go with two people? Can we go with
It's up to you,
two things?
man. It's your absurd.
Yeah. Okay. So is it absurd with you? I don't even really want to touch Ime Udoka because I don't know all the details. I do know the details though of the Boston Celtics as an organization. Um, Bill Russell, who was a player coach, won championships for them. And while he was in Boston, the city of Boston had to endure racism. Um, Kyrie Irving, call it what you want. Kyrie, part of his complaint with Boston was racism, fans. LeBron James, very recently, I heard him make a point saying if there's one place that he's had the worst fans and incurred something along those lines, Boston. Um, I think Boston itself, no one's really going to go to bat for Boston, say that it, it's they don't have a race problem. Like I think everyone, if even in Boston, they probably admit that. Okay, it's just so nothing. But I want to say this about Boston: if they respected their coach, they could have handled the situation so much different. I've seen they pretty much remember Ben Johnson back in the day. Ben Johnson, when he was running track and field for Canada, he was he's Canadian, he's Canadian, he's Canadian. And as soon as the steroid situation happened, Canada dashed him to the side and said, "Hey, you know what? He's not Canadian, he's Jamaican." I feel like Boston's doing the same thing with Ime Udoka. I think that if they had any respect for him as a coach, they could have handled it so much different ways without completely throwing him under the bus. And that's why I'm going with absurd with Boston. I don't know if I'm going Boston the city. I'll say the Boston Celtics organization, and the city can catch some strays on it also in regards to their fans and just everything about Boston and how they treat black players here in 2022. Absurd. Nelly J, you got it.
Listen, Raheem. Wow. Boston. Yikes. I won't be so harsh. So there's a few things that you said that I wanted to address, right? And again, this is all alleged, and put it all out there. Alleged. We put alleged before every sentence. Okay, cool. So allegedly, what I was told, and this is why I'm not going to be as harsh on Boston for absurd, but I have a different absurd than you, right?
Okay.
So, allegedly, there was a lawsuit at Boston from the alleged person that was consensual with Ime. So
Oh.
so apparently there was a lawsuit filed, and so there essentially was forced to do this for show. So allegedly, again, allegedly, when reports first came out, well, what my issue was just the media. My absurdity is the media, okay, because they've been trash, right? I felt like it was very, no offense to Woj, good guy, but I thought it was very just the way he reported how the first report. It was like, what? I felt that you don't report on things until you know the story. I think sometimes people want to report to be the first to report it. And I felt like it was very irresponsible to report on something saying, hey, he was suspended for a year for breaking protocol. Um, and that was it. Like, what? What did like they kill? So like everyone's minds went crazy. What was also absurd was that people were trying to figure out if he slept with an executive's wife. Then I heard that he slept with a girl that was on the staff. It wasn't her. Okay, people were
What?
Faheem. It was so absurd social media how they thought it was this one black girl
I seen,
on,
yeah.
and it wasn't even her. It wasn't even her.
What?
So she had to wake up and see people see her name trending, and it was like, it wasn't me, right? No, it wasn't me. Like,
It wasn't me.
so my issue was all of that, like just the absurdity of the social media, the absurdity of everyone else that was commenting from the media but didn't know what was going on. I heard Faheem, I heard so many stories and theories. Okay, comes out that it was someone who was a scheduler admin, and she would schedule stuff for him and vice versa. And again, allegedly, the husband of her, I guess she was talking on, and I guess Ring recorded her outside the door, and he found out about it allegedly. So again, Faheem, the entire thing is absurd because there hasn't been any accurate account of what was going on. Then Bleacher Report, and they're again trying to be, first, whatever. They had a post about, he did unwanted advances to her, and maybe it wasn't consensual. So now I'm hearing that, it was actually harassment. Like, legit absurd was just how the entire media, Faheem, handled the entire situation. So to me, not just about Boston, it's the media, it's social media, it's everything. Like, at the end of the day, right, Boston, to me, I think if they didn't have to report on the film, I don't think they would have. I don't think Boston would have reported on the situation because of an internal situation, right? But because the media got hold of it, they took it and ran. So to me, my issue isn't really Boston, it's the media and how they kind of forced them to talk about it publicly, right? Honestly. So again, that's absurd to me. Number two, if this person did allegedly sue them or not, I heard this is why, whatever. But again, the fact that it was consensual, then they're saying it's not, like, come on, man. Like, every report has not been consistent. That's my issue.
Right.
So to me, that's why I said, let's wait until what happens and then find out. But at the end of the day, I don't like talking on stuff for him until I know the full story. And even now, I don't think we know the full story yet.
No, you're right.
The only people that know it is Ime and that young lady, and that's it. We're all going to be hearing different sides, different outcomes. So for me, the absurdity is that, why are y'all so invested? Why? Honestly, why are y'all so invested? So again, you're like, well, no, well, so for me, like, we hear stuff, okay, cool, I heard about it, okay, let's see what happens next. But at the end of the day, was what I feel bad for is the Boston Celtics fan base and players, because now they're going to be a center of this. And for me, the Boston, their team was doing so well. Ime coached them into the finals, and so for me, I feel it's bad that they have to go through this as a fan base and as players. I'm sure in the locker room is going to be very weird. And then Malika Andrews, her saying a whole bunch of stuff, like, legit, the media has just been absurd for him. Absolutely absurd. So my absurd goes to them. But at the end of the day, it's basketball. And whatever Ime decides to do, that's on him. And every action has a reaction. So do I agree with what happened or how he handled it? Not. But again, I don't agree with it. Doesn't mean that I'm going to say, well, he's done. Bro, you live your life, okay? You want to do what you want to do, then you get suspended for a year. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it is. You take the L, and I think Ime took the L. He said, and to the chin, and now he's suspended for a year, right? That's what it is. Now, will he be fired afterwards? Will he get a coaching job again? I really think this will pass because something else will come up that's even whatever next week. But for me, the absurd goes to the media and how it was handled altogether. Because legit, Faheem, I read so many accounts of what happened, and they were all different.
I don't. So Ime, he's suspended, meaning like he doesn't have to go back. if he could choose, I know everyone wants the money. It's a job.
It's a
He doesn't
contract.
have to go back.
He has to go back. He does.
So he's still on contract.
He's under
So,
contract. Yeah, so that's why this is he's suspended for a year, but
uh-huh.
he also gets a.
Suspension.
But I think he has to pay a fine. But he's
Uh-huh.
under contract, so if he pulls out, he loses money. So
Oh my gosh.
I remember,
Boston.
right? Like no, but again, that's what I'm saying. So at least they did it. But I mean, honestly, he could have been fired for that though. He could then say, you know what?
I think he's better. I think they were better off firing him. If they would have
Mm,
fired him in the situation, I would have much more respect for Boston. But it's the fact that they're going
uh,
to keep him strung on,
handcuff him for a
suspended,
year. It's
and
like,
and while
don't leave.
and yeah, and while they do that, discredit him while he's under suspension. Absurd. Like I think they're better if you know what if they just said, you know what, we fired him. I say, okay, those things happen.
Yeah,
Don't
you know
suspend a
what?
man and then
I
discredit him.
agree.
No.
Yeah, to me, it's better if they just let him go.
Mm-hmm.
But or trade for him. You know, remember he's a
Yeah.
trading piece. You can trade for
Right.
coaches. So at the
Right.
end of the day, like we're you know what? Keep in mind, suspension. This just all went down this past couple of weeks, so he
Mm-hmm.
could be fired. Like we don't know, and maybe because of his contract, they're probably trying to find a legal way to let him go, but not pay us. You know what I'm saying? Like there's all
Right.
legalities involved. So I'm sure that's the
Mm-hmm.
end. I think to your point, that's what they're going to do. But I
Mm-hmm.
also think unfortunately, people are going to have sex when they work together. It's going to happen. So you can
Yeah.
put protocols around it and put rules, but people are going to do them things, regardless
Yeah.
of protocol.
Yeah.
And my thing is that so for me, that's my thing is like you can't stop people from doing that. So
Yeah.
you put parameter, they do it, they get penalized, they get suspended for a year, and that's it. To me, it wasn't like he broke in or stole money. Like that's an offense that you can't come back from, and
Mm-hmm.
still works. It's just that, maybe next time just have the girl not work there anymore or I mean there's so many girls in the world like you can't find someone outside of Boston. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
hey, again, you do you, boo boo. I ain't
Yeah.
judging you. You do you, boo boo. Because
Y-
again, every action has a reaction. So he took it to the chin. He know that he was in the wrong because he broke the rules. And so that's why I'm saying I don't think Boston's absurd because that's the rule book. Like if you sign a contract that said don't sleep with people in you say you agree to it.
I have a question. Is that in his contract in particular? Or is that in every coach's contract? That's odd.
I'm
You know,
not sure. Again,
you're
like
like,
I
why
mean,
would
I can't
why
speak
would
on
that be?
every,
You know what?
but
That's like
no,
the the football guy who had that contract. What was it? Just a few weeks ago, we talked about it, where he had some film room. Who was it? Film room. They said not Kyler Murray. Yes, it was Kyler Murray, right? Kyler Murray, where they said
they had a contract.
in his
Yeah,
contract that he had to attend film room, and it's like, well, that's what QBs do
yeah.
anyway. So it's I kind of feel like if they
So
had in his contract,
apparently it's well known. It's something that's in many, like for example, players can't sleep with cheerleaders. That's the NFL actual rule.
oh,
But the issue is that he slept with someone that was below him, so she
right.
worked under him. So it
So
wasn't like he slept with someone that's like in a different department altogether.
no,
But the fact that she's under him, that's
I
the issue.
understand, but I guess my question is, was that specifically in his
Yes,
contract, or is
yes.
that standard
That's
head coach?
standard in
Okay,
that any employee of
right.
Boston,
Okay,
it's a part of the sexual. There's
I
a
don't
big
doubt
clause
that.
in it. Yeah, so
Mhm.
that's
Okay.
why. So again, when you break the rule, and again, that stuff like in it says like you could be suspended or fired for that.
Hmm. Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, like, it is something where, that's a rule. You sign something, we all go through like, sexual harassment training. We go through all that stuff at any workplace. But I know some companies though, Faheem, it does say if you are to sleep with someone in your workplace, you have to actually tell HR so they can ensure that both sides are agree to it. Some companies say you can't report it, don't do it at all, right? So every company is different. That's what I'm saying, y'all. When you get hired somewhere,
Yeah.
make sure you read every single thing. So
He risked it all, like not just his job, but like
some
he,
pom pom,
his,
yo, wild.
his marriage, and I just wanted just one last angle on the way
He,
at
he's not he's
this.
not married. He's not married.
Oh, sorry, my bad. His
He's not
fiance. There,
married.
no, I think they were
No.
their fiance. No. Okay.
Well, what's okay again? Even that is
His
messed
okay.
up because
So
again, I heard reports that she don't want to get married. I heard reports that they actually weren't together at all at the time of when he slept with this woman. They weren't together at the time. They've been off and on. So again, as I'm saying, like this, Fahim, there's so much gaps and
right.
misconstrued information. We don't. Again, no one knows the truth but Ime and that lady.
Right. Well, and I do know that they have 3 children together. So I
No,
just, you know,
one child together.
one. I saw, where am I getting these reports from?
Again, I'm
It
telling
says
you,
three.
they have
Okay. Well,
one
anyway,
kid
well,
together.
even one. That one child is probably. I'm assuming they're old enough to know what's going on.
Oh, for
Here's
sure.
so like
I
for
feel bad for that for him, for their
things
son.
happen with the family. We talk about these athletes, whatever, but this is real life stuff. So like families and real people are being affected by this, and I think we just have to kind of tread lightly and respect, what this is going through because we really don't know. It's a lot, like you said. It's a good call on you for calling out the media because there's a lot of things going on,
Mm-hmm.
being said about this, and we don't know the validity. And like you said, everyone wants to be first out with the information, and
Everyone just wants to have a
it's
hot click.
bad.
You know what
It's
I'm
bad
saying?
out
So for
there.
those who don't
Yeah.
know, they do share one son. He's 10 years old.
Oh, okay.
And so Nia was looking to get a place there because, he works there now. So she wanted
Right.
to get a place so that her and her son can spend, because, in the NBA season it's really high, really busy. So,
Of course.
but yeah, at the end of the day, whatever happened between Nia and Ime, no one knows because I'm hearing they've been on and off, but still, that's someone that you invested time with, you have a child together, you're going to
Hmm.
communicate, you're going to have still some type of thing. So,
Right.
whether they're together or not now, I don't know. But again, I just think that the reports have been so inconsistent. Hence why my absurdity goes to you guys, the media.
Hmm. Right.
Yeah. Again, y'all, everything we've said has been alleged. We're not sure. Y'all, we don't know. The truth is between Ime and that lady. Someone say Faheem. Again.
Upset. Right. All right. So the Nelly J, you know what? Let's put this episode in the books.
Yes, y'all. Thank you for staying tuned to the Good Rookie Show.
Hmm.
So, y'all, as you know, at this time, we like to do shout outs. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna do a quick shout out. Um, my shout out is to it's a weird one, but I do want to shout out Aaron Judge for tying. He has 61 right now. So
Nice.
big up
I
to him.
like.
I didn't want him breaking the record in Toronto. Everyone knows who spoke to me. I'm like, bro, you're not gonna come to Toronto and make history. You know what I'm saying? We're not doing that here. You know what I'm saying? So we did walk him quite a bit, but big up to Aaron Judge though. Like I think it's a big, hallmark, 61 home runs. And I think he has 6 more games left. Will every pitcher, walk him for the remaining of the season? I hope not. I would like to see him to kind of, but no pitcher wants to be that guy either, right? So I get it. Anyway, but big up to Aaron Judge for doing that. And I also want to big up Team Canada, the women's side. They're playing in right now the World Cup, the ladies. So they've been doing, quite well. So big up to all the ladies playing for Team Canada basketball team. Faheem.
Nice. I'll be honest. This shout out, I don't really have the shout out that I was looking for. I was hoping something was going to happen. It didn't happen. So
Mm-hmm.
now I'm saying, okay. But what I do, or what I think I should shout out, which is kind of something a little different, is Serge Ibaka. We talked about Afrobeats on a previous episode, and I know that Serge, he broke a record, and the record was on Spotify. Spotify record. It has a hit song called Champion, and he's the most streamed. Is it the most streamed professional athlete or most? He broke a Spotify record with Champion. Yep. So most streams athlete on Spotify. Serge Ibaka, I never would have thought. I saw the little intro he did. It wasn't very long though, which I find interesting. He did an intro, but he's in the record books for that. So shout out to Serge Ibaka. Season starting. Afro beats. He's African. Good look on you.
Yeah, I mean, it was streamed over 35 million times on Spotify since its release
Wow.
in February 2021. That's
Hmm.
more than any other active NBA player for him, surpassing Damian Lillard or Dame Dalla. So,
Name Dalla, right?
so big up to him. Great shout out. And
All
also a
right.
fellow Raptor, an ex-Raptor.
Right.
Oh, by the way, did you hear how Norman Powell says circling? The only game he's circling this year is the Raptors game. I'm like, look
Really?
at
No,
this
I didn't know
boy.
that.
That's
Oh,
the only game he's circled thus far.
I
I'm like,
like
wow,
that.
Norm, like that though, but I like it. I like it.
I like that. Maybe we can get a good solid rivalry with the Clippers, Raptors, since the
Yeah,
Clippers are, you know,
they got 2 ex-Raptors
the
there.
Toronto West, you know, the
Well, they
Toronto.
try to tank, but then they, trade away Surge. So they
Right,
try to
right.
tank.
All right, Nelly J, let's put this episode in the books.
Yes, y'all, that's a good rookie show. If you had a good time and you enjoyed yourself, Please like, subscribe, and tell a friend to tell a friend. Faheem.
We're on all platforms. You know that if you're looking for us. That's Good Rookies Show, and we out.
Peace.
Peace.